Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Gucci Memoire d'une Odeur. This is the newest fragrance just released. I'm really excited to review this for you guys, so keep watching if you want to know. Now for transparency purposes, I purchased this, so letting you guys know where I got the bottle to review. This was purchased by me. But I'm not the first person to review this, nor will I be the last. I think even a few people got their reviews up today. A lot of us are going to be reviewing with scent because it's actually a really unique release from Gucci. This is released under Alessandro Michele, fragrance by a very distinctive, amazing creative director. As soon as Alessandro Michele took over Gucci, he's really been making his mark on the brand, and obviously the nose is a legendary and beloved just master. So the really interesting thing about this scent, and obviously a bunch of us have talked about it, is that this is marketed not as like a unisex scent, but it has absolutely no designated gender. So it's not like it could be for men or for women. It's literally for everybody. And I thought that the concept of that was really cool. As I was doing a little bit more research on the scent, I like the idea of them taking and trying to create a new genre, which is a mineral aromatic. There we go. And that is such a beautiful and very perfect way to describe this scent. Now, the notes in this scent are chamomile, there's bitter almond, there's jasmine, Indian jasmine, musks, and at the base you have cedarwood, sandalwood, and vanilla. I want to say that this is a very, and I mean very predominantly chamomile fragrance, and that is what Alessandro Michele really desired from the scent, and you can smell it like the whole way through. I find it to be very crystal clear, very light on the skin. It smells almost like a cologne, or what you would expect an eau de toilette to smell like, but it's an eau de parfum. Now the bottle, Alessandro Michele was inspired by an old vintage Gucci bottle. Some people really like the bottle, some people don't like the bottle. I actually really dig the bottle. I think it looks so cool. And it kind of reminds me of a vintagey version of Bloom. It's just this very kind of monolithic bottle with this specific label. Feel Alessandro Michele's presence in each and everything that he touches at Gucci, and I think what he's been doing with fragrances has been pretty spectacular. So let's talk about this scent, shall we? This is a very universally easy to wear scent, but it definitely smells unique and special. If you are unfamiliar with a chamomile note, it smells very aromatic, almost a little bit ozonic in a weird kind of floral way. You can pick up little bits of almost hay or straw in here. It can come off a little bit damp and moist, but it also can come off a little bit dry. It completely depends on the note that it is mixed with. Now, I think that it being mixed with musk and sandalwood and cedarwood is really very perfect because it kind of gives it that aromatic woody quality, but you are given a little bit of sparkle and magic with the jasmine, and the vanilla gives it just a touch of warmth in the background. This does smell like a scent that I would consider to be androgynous. Now, unisex, androgynous, gender fluid, gender non-binary, women's, men's, genderless scents. You guys, I love the idea of brands moving towards genderless scents. You guys have heard me talk about gender and fragrance, and let's be honest, I don't think that there's anything wrong with gendering scents if you're looking at it purely from a marketing point of view. There are scents that most of the consumers who are men prefer to buy. Again, think of woody aromatics, barbershop type scents. Think of things that have a lot of tobacco and leather and smoke. And there's a lot of scents that women love, you know, that predominantly women consumers buy things that are a little bit more sparkly, a little bit sweeter, lighter. Think along the lines of fruits and things like that, or like rose and just jasmine oriented fragrances. White florals are another thing that you see in predominantly women's fragrances. And so I find it to be so spectacular that two very distinctive sides of the aisle have come together, and I would say very dated sides of the aisle coming together. A lot of times when people think of white florals and fragrances, they can come off very dated, and it's really fantastic to see people taking white florals and creating new and interesting and unique and complex and simplistic and minimalistic compositions. And then seeing woody aromatics who've been around forever and can be in some cases considered very dated, very like gentlemanly, like, you know, like distinguished old man scents, nothing like those young whippersnappers of today. And it's really interesting to see these two kind of like compositions and very distinctive presences on the men's and the women's side come together to create something that is so uniquely androgynous. And I do want to use the word androgynous and not unisex. Now, I could easily talk to you guys for 20, 30, 40, 50 hours about fragrance and gender and how I think this is a really unique and special coming of age scent for Gucci. And I absolutely love this scent. Obviously, I'm talking about it a lot. But let's talk about this scent in and of itself as a fragrance. Let's talk about the juice, shall we? So this fragrance is very light on the skin. I find this to be, again, very aromatic, very light, very effervescent, and a little bit ozonic, which I really like. Minerally aromatic is a perfect way to describe this scent. Not minerally animalic, mineral aromatic. There we go. It's like a tongue twister for me, guys. This scent opens up very strong of chamomile, and you guys know I love almond in fragrances, but the almond in this is very light and almost kind of watery. So I would say that it's just a little bit in the background just to give it a tiny bit of sweetness, and it pairs more with the jasmine, it pairs more with the heart notes than it does with the opening notes, with those notes, so with the chamomile. After about, I'd say 15 to 20 minutes, the musk becomes a little bit more predominant. The almond goes away almost entirely, and you're left with kind of like this musky white floral, but the chamomile is kind of cutting through it and doesn't make it smell like a dated white floral that you probably smelled like your grandma or your grandfather when you were being babysat by them when you were 5. Like, it definitely has a unique spin on it. I'd say around that time too is when the cedarwood and the sandalwood come out, and this is when the fragrance really starts to take a life to it. Those woods notes with those floral notes really come together to create this kind of effervescent, watery, ozonic masterpiece on the skin, but at the same time the chamomile just sits there and it's very predominant, and so it's kind of like you're in a bathtub and then the chamomile is just floating on top. And if that's how I could describe this scent visually, that's how this smells to me. And the vanilla is in there just to give this a little bit of warmth, a little bit of depth, a little bit of something else. I think it's very expertly chosen. If I have one negative thing to say about this scent, I think it has to do with the fact that it doesn't have a lot of presence. When it comes down to performance, I get about 2 to 4 hours, so it doesn't last on the skin for a very long time. And when it comes down to projection and sillage, it doesn't have a lot going for it. It can be very strong in the opening for the first, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes, and then it becomes a skin scent. And then when it comes down to sillage, it doesn't leave much of a lingering trail. Now, a lot of times, I don't have an issue with fragrances like that being very more skin, more personal, more intimate, but I always like to let you guys know that it depends on how the fragrance smells. I think some fragrances perform better and smell better when they're a little bit more personal. I feel if they were louder, it would cheapen it. And I do particularly feel like this fragrance should be louder. I think it being so close to the skin, it kind of loses some of the presence that it has. And I do wish this was performed a little bit better. I wish it had a little bit more sillage. I think it was a little bit louder, because I do think this is the type of scent that people are gonna like to smell. Now, I also wanna let you guys know that this is definitely a scent you can wear to work. Overall, I think Memoire d'un Odeur, and I think I pronounced that wrong, I always pronounce those things wrong, is again a beautiful thing, and I've loved what Alessandro Michele has done with Gucci, just with the fashion and just the entire life and soul of Gucci has changed since he's come into it. And I definitely love what he's done with fragrances, and I must say that I am a huge fan of this fragrance. So again, that is my review, guys. I'd love to know what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I know this is going to be a little bit of a controversial scent, so I'd really love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.